After talking with hundreds of high achieving, ambitious women over the years, leaders, high performers, people doing objectively well in their careers, I began to see the same patterns repeating. Different industries, across different companies, different personality types, the same underlying work patterns kept appearing. Some women were carrying everyone else's responsibilities. Some were constantly managing other people's emotions. Some had quietly outgrown their roles, but were still there. Some were climbing successfully, but questioning whether they were even climbing the right tree. Others had reached a strange place where life looked great on paper, but internally were struggling because they felt pulled towards something bigger, something completely different. At first, these stories, these problems seem unrelated. But eventually, I realized something important. Man, high achieving women are some of the most prone to workplace frustration out there because they're so good at trying to optimize themselves, doing what is needed by those around them, and ignoring their inner callings. That makes them susceptible to performance traps. Performance traps are predictable patterns that high achievers fall into when their strengths go unchecked. The same strengths that make someone capable or responsible or driven can also quietly pull them into negative patterns that drain their energy over time. And those performance traps have a huge influence on something we talk about often on this show, and that is burnout. Burnout is rarely just about working too much. There's a whole spectrum, but more often it's about the way you, with your strengths, interact with your environment. Over time, I began grouping these patterns together, and eventually they became now what I call the 5 performance traps high achieving women fall into at work. Today, we're going to walk through the 5 types of high achieving women and the traps that they fall into, because once you recognize the traps that you've fallen for, you can start to understand your career energy, what fuels you versus what drains you, and why certain environments feel effortless while others slowly wear you down. And if you are feeling career frustration, this episode may help you identify exactly why that is and what you can do about it. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Bold Life School, the show that empowers you to elevate your life and to step into your full potential. I'm your host, Jameson, and this is where ambition meets authenticity, where you'll find the tools and inspiration to grow, evolve, and thrive. Each week, we dive into powerful topics that challenge the status quo, whether it's to break through limiting beliefs, navigate life's transitions, or embrace the bold moves that push you beyond your comfort zone. Now let's get into today's episode. Before we walk through these high achiever performance traps, let me ask you something. When something starts feeling off at work, which direction do you instinctively move? Do you just go harder and take on even more responsibility? Do you sacrifice other key needs like self-care, your family, or sleep time? Do you immediately start helping everyone else while putting your own goals on the back burner? Do you feel restless because you've already mastered the work in front of you? Or do you start questioning whether the entire path you're on still makes sense? Most high achievers don't respond to career stress randomly. We respond predictably. So let's walk through the 5 common traps I see and listen specifically to see if you can recognize yourself in each of these performance traps. There's some overlap. Sometimes we feel like we are hurting or experiencing pain signals in multiple categories. So look out for that too. The first trap is the overextended achiever. You know her. She's the high performer, reliable, capable, trusted, impressive. The person everyone goes to when something needs to get done. She's high energy, seems to be killing it. But over time, something subtle happens here. The better she performs, the more responsibility she receives. The more people depend on her, the more she's got on her plate. And the more she says yes, the more work that starts falling onto her plate. She's spinning multiple plates. She becomes the infrastructure of the success of those around her. At work, then there's home, and in her family. Her life slowly becomes a never-ending list of obligations. The emails pile up, there's the admin tasks, the cleaning, the relationships. Some of these things get left behind because something's got to give. We're not meant to inherently handle so much. Her career energy shifts from purpose to pressure and ambition to exhaustion. I see this a lot in the med tech industry. There are so many smart women there, engineers, marketers, product educators, scientists, and they're all performing under intense timelines with limited resources. On top of that, many of them are handling busy city commutes, child drop-offs, all of them with life admin. When there are customer engagements or project deadlines, though, they can't and don't miss. They have to be in surgery at early hours. They have to accommodate customers when it makes sense for the customer. Spinning all of these plates for so long takes its toll, and women feel the pressure and mounting overwhelm from being perpetually behind on everything in life. The real problem is that women are often taking on more than they can or should handle because they've become the person everyone around them relies on. Meanwhile, the system around her is not making adjustments. Therefore, all of the adjustments fall on her. More time, more resources, more assistance, more breaks, more rest is what she needs. Signs you're in this trap. You feel responsible for everything and everyone. You think it's easier to just do it yourself. Often it is, let's be real. You're the go-to person when something needs to get done. Your calendar feels constantly full. You struggle to say no. Your success is slowly turned into obligation. And maybe it seems like you're always hustling from commitment to commitment. So what is the solution when you're an extended overachiever? The good news is that your breakthrough isn't likely to require quitting your life. It's about restructuring responsibility. So start by auditing everything that you're carrying, not just the tasks, but the emotional labor, the decision-making, the planning, and the problem-solving. Then shift from being everyone's hero to leadership mode. The work that can be done is to examine your priorities, to determine what needs to be elevated in importance and what needs to go immediately or be phased out. Understanding the most critical needs and then developing creative solutions like delegating, creating systems or boundaries to support or change your mindset and your results help achieve relief for this overextended achiever. Now, let's look at a very different trap because some high achievers don't burn out from doing too much. They burn out from caring too much about everyone else's experience more than their own. The second performance trap personality is the boundaryless giver. This woman cares so much. She cares deeply about people and she wants to help everyone around her to succeed. So she becomes the kind, emotional support system of the workplace, the mediator, the helper, the fast fixer, the shoulder to cry on. She's always willing to go to the extra mile when you need her. And this catches on fast around the office. She's always a fan favorite because she's a yes woman. And even when she doesn't really want to help or doesn't have the bandwidth, she can be easily persuaded into supporting. But when you absorb everyone else's needs, you slowly lose access to your own. Your priorities end up last. The career energy shifts from being connected to being depleted. I've had boundaryless givers tell me, I spend half my day managing other people's emotions. And these types usually don't realize that emotional labor has quietly become a part of the whole job and her whole personality. Personally, I do value coming through for people in times of need, particularly in a fast paced work environment with a close team. It's always a give and take. When the business needs you to come through, go ahead, go above and beyond, work some extra hours to get some time bound work done. I'm all for it. But women who are always going above and beyond for the organization, for others, also must account for that on the other end. They also must take downtime to rebalance the scales, to put extra focus on fulfilling their own needs and priorities. The boundaryless giver is in need of a balanced scale. So, signs that you're a boundaryless giver. People regularly come to you with their problems. Maybe you struggle to say no. You worry about disappointing others. You want to do whatever it takes. But it seems like you sometimes attract takers. Take. You prioritize harmony for others over yourself. Then maybe you feel emotionally drained by work or people around you. In order to escape this trap, your breakthrough has to be about strategic generosity. It's no doubt you are a giver. But it's about learning the importance of not saying yes all the time, but being able to say no to problems, people, and even opportunities that do not serve you or are not for you or impede you from prioritizing your primary needs and your growth opportunities. Clarifying what is actually your responsibility, encouraging others to solve their own problems, protecting your energy for your own sanity, growth, and leadership. The next performance trap looks very different. These women aren't overwhelmed, they're under-challenged and increasingly unengaged at work. The plateaued performer. This personality type has mastered her environment, her industry, her organization, her job description, one of those. She just isn't being challenged, or there's no longer any stretch to her assignments. For someone wired for growth, predictability eventually starts to feel like a cage. The energy in the career shifts from one of feeling growth and momentum to stagnation, stalling out, boredom. Signs that you're in this trap. You could do your job almost on autopilot. Maybe it doesn't require you to put in much effort to show up for projects, meetings, things like that feel repetitive. You feel intellectually understimulated. Maybe it's the topics altogether that you've outgrown. Your ideas feel bigger than your role. You're ready for more. You may feel undervalued due to a lack of progression, or you feel restless despite appearing to be successful on the outside. So, in order to escape this trap, your breakthrough is going to come if you can restore challenge to your work life or in other areas outside. Seek new problems to solve. Expand your scope. Reignite curiosity either in the job or outside of the job. Considering a new direction or leveling up your career is probably going to be an important aspect because you are finished at the level that you've come to master. If you're an ambitious woman, new challenges combined with passion or talents equals growth and will help restore life energy. Now, if the idea of expanding your scope, your skill set, or your responsibilities within your current career space does not appeal to you, you might be in need of a career realignment. This is more about environment, values, and identity mismanagement. The fourth performance trap is the misaligned climber. This type is still ambitious. She's climbing, but noticing that something about the climb feels off, feels wrong. Maybe it's the culture that doesn't fit at work. Maybe your values don't align with the direction. Maybe the work itself isn't meaningful anymore. Maybe your interest in outside areas is starting to cloud what you're doing during your day job. The energy shift here is from one of momentum and growth to friction, sometimes confusion and anxiety. Why is what I've built starting to feel off? Signs that you're in this trap. Maybe you're starting to feel those Sunday scaries, the dread before work. Maybe your values are starting to conflict with leadership decisions. You feel at odds with the strategy, rules, or expectations. You're starting to question whether this plan, this path is truly yours. And maybe you often dream about escaping or jumping ship somewhere just over there, just a little bit different, where the grass is greener on the other side. To escape this trap, you can start by identifying your non-negotiables. Clarify the type of work, people, values that matter most for future you, not past you. If you can imagine it, what needs to change, what the ideal environment would look like for you, you can then begin exploring environmental change to find some place, to find a team, to find work that better aligns with who you're becoming. And finally, there's one last trap. This one isn't about burnout. It is about evolution. The fifth performance trap for high-achieving women is the life outgrower. The life outgrower isn't broken. She's simply evolved. She built a life that once felt perfect, but the ambition and curiosity have expanded. Now the life she built feels too small for the person she's become. She yearns for more out there. Maybe she's not clear on what it is, but she knows that success in the next level means something different. There's probably a lot of inner conflict because when high achieving women have reached success milestones, they've often worked very hard, put in a lot of heart and soul into what they've built. And because of that, fear arises. I mean, the idea of making a huge leap in career or in your life when you've built so much could risk or change everything. And that alone is scary. But despite those fears, her career is shifting from security, stability, comfort to expansion. It's coming. It's an uncontrollable feeling for expansion. Signs you're in this trap. Well, you feel pulled towards something bigger, something exciting, something more meaningful. Your current success feels less fulfilling. Maybe you feel like you've gone as far as you can down your current path. Your interests, your ambitions are evolving. You imagine designing your life differently. You want to shake it up, but maybe you feel stuck or confined because of something else, like your responsibilities, or because you've put so much into this current channel of your life. Escaping this trap means you would need to stop judging the desire for more. Clarify the identity that you are growing into. Who is this new woman? What would her ideal path be? Then begin building the bridge through small experiments, through new skill growth. Consider all of the possible ways to begin growing your life container without having to blow up the one you have immediately. Your next chapter often starts quietly before it becomes obvious even to you that big change is on the horizon. So just start by questioning, imagining, auditing, and then you can move into planning, building, creating, and becoming. When you develop a strategy, the unimaginable becomes possible. If you recognize yourself in any of these performance traps today, it's actually good news because clarity is where change begins. Most people stay stuck not because they lack ability, it's because they lack ingenuity. They can't see the pattern that they're stuck inside, so they can't imagine a brighter, different path for their future. But once you see the trap, you can start stepping out of it. So if you're curious where you fall on this burnout to breakthrough spectrum, I'm coming out with a quick quiz that will help you identify your performance trap pattern. You'll find the link in the show notes. Right now, it'll take you to the wait list, but I'll update it when I have the actual content on my website. And remember, you're not behind. You're not broken. You may simply be outgrowing the life you once built. And if that's the case, that's not burnout, that's evolution. I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, head over to theboldlife.coach for more resources, join our community, and start living your boldest life today.